flatulence. That's every time for whatever
Flatulence!
for whatever reason. That scene keeps sticking in my head because when the video pops up, that's the very first thing.
Right.
Flatulence!
I did that with a couple of bits because you have to kind of grab them at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'll do the punchline at the very beginning and then cut to the bit.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, the punchline comes out again.
And I noticed.
Nate Bargatze.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I think
he's great.
I think he's pretty hilarious, considering that he's
Smart.
100% clean.
Yeah.
You know, and he says that like his kids can watch it and stuff, and I think that's probably some of the hardest ways to be funny.
Well, it is, and it's actually the most you get the most money from it too, because if you're clean, you can do corporate gigs.
Yeah.
If you're clean in a club, they don't like you. I mean, you won't get booked back.
Yeah. Ironically, Dana Carvey played Kenny G was his opener.
Wow.
I know, and Dana Carvey was in California at Paso Robles, the mid-state fair, and he was telling his jokes. He got about 3/4 through of the set, and they came out and they put a piece of note where he could see it.
Yeah.
And he picked it up. He said, you know, you would have thought they would have told me this, but they're saying that Chris Christopherson, who was singing at a different stage, he said, they're offended by my material.
They can hear it over it.
Yes. Well, and he was kind of making fun of Chris Christopherson because you could hear the one song. Was it Chris Christopherson? It was some artist like that had one song that was big. And he was kind of teasing them about it, but he didn't know if he could hear them. So he went back and redid his whole bit, all clean. But he was not happy about that.
Well, that's a skill. If you can just do and it's still just as funny without the dirty stuff, or was it not just not
well, we had already heard it.
Yeah,
so
it couldn't have been.
Yeah, so we were like, oh, okay, yeah.
But he was taping a special, right?
No, he wasn't. He was just there. But this was back in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
So he was still, the church lady. And I don't even know if Wayne's World had come out yet. That's how early it would have been.
Yeah.
But he definitely was on SNL. I've only seen a few. Him, and we saw ventriloquist Dunham. Jeff Dunham. We saw him before he got big.
Yeah.
He still only had the jalapeno on his feet and
the dead guy? Or no, he didn't.
He did not have Ahmed yet. He had the fuzzy young guy. Those were the only two they had.
Yeah.
So yeah, we saw him. But other than that, I would have loved to see Robin Williams perform.
Well, I actually got to meet him. I was headlining in Vancouver, British Columbia, and it was a place called Yuck Yucks. It's still there. It's a club. And Robin was filming a TV show, or he was filming a movie called RV. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest movie, but
no, but it has Robin Williams.
Right,
in it,
and
so
he was filming it in Vancouver, and he came out to the show, a second show Saturday, which is a rowdy crowd, and I'm sitting in the green room, and all of a sudden Robin Williams walks in. Hello, and I'm like, wow. He goes, would you mind if I did a guest set? And I said, well, yeah, I know. I won't mind, but you have to go on after me. I'm not going to follow you.
Yeah, no.
This is a hard enough crowd right here, so it was a typical second show Saturday crowd. They were all drunk, and, I was dealing with them, and I went to the end of my time. No one knew that Robin was coming up.
Oh, wow.
And so I finished my set, and they're all okay, and people are getting their coats on and stuff, and then the MC comes on. He goes, we have one more comedian, and he doesn't really need an introduction, so here he is. And then Robin comes out, and everyone just, the cell phones came out, everyone, oh my God, and he did 20 more minutes making fun of the guy that was heckling me. And he didn't do any material. He just made fun of the guy that was heckling me the whole time.
Secretly, you were like thinking.
I was like, I couldn't believe it. He came to my...
Robin Williams is my superhero.
He came to my rescue. He was like my knight in shining armor.
It's weird. I've only ever... celebrities are celebrities, but only two celebrities have ever gotten me.
Oh.
John Ritter and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell did a little bit just because of his voice and how iconic he was, but... Yeah, Robin, I'm seriously jealous. I always wanted to meet him at least just once.
You never know what you're going to get, because I just travel all over the place, so I never know who I'm going to meet or anything. That's the beauty of the job. And he just happened to come in. That was in about 2008, so it was a while ago.
I always wish, after he died, it's weird, I started writing to people that I admired. Like, I wrote to Betty White, and I said, hey, I just want to let you know that what you've done in your life has meant a lot to me. Like, I only knew you as the Golden Girls and beyond, but I've always admired your how funny you were without being funny. When you get that kind of, especially when she was in Golden Girls, and I just wanted to let her know that, because I knew she was ending her thing. But I don't know. I just feel like if they mean something to me, I want to let them know that their work meant something.
And that's before they die. Because it's like, so final.
And because Robin was struggling, obviously, and I understand, because he was going to lose his livelihood, and everything that I've heard from people was he was very much on all the time.
He was a lot on.
Did you ever watch the Michael J. Fox special?
No.
He's got a great humor about this condition, disease he has.
Yeah, of course.
And he's walking with his friend, or with his trainer, because he has a tendency to walk fast. He said he was always running, so he walks fast. And this lady passes by him, and he turns around to look at her, and he falls over his feet.
Oh, no.
And she turns around to help him. He goes, "Look at that! You're so beautiful. You made me trip over myself."
Yep, you got to keep that sense of humor.
Yeah, you do.
No matter what happens, because once you become a comedian, like I decided to be one. I guess I decided 35 years ago.
Wow.
So it was like in 1900 and
1900.
Yeah, in like 86 or 87. I moved to Minneapolis, and I was just like trying to be an actor, because I went to Lawrence University and I was a theater major.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to be the next big actor, I was all handsome.
I can see it.
Oh my God.
I saw the pictures. Yeah. You have one of some longer hair, like a mustache. You're looking very like Cosby still in Nash or something.
Oh, I tell you, I had the girls back in those days. I had my share.
Well, you are Wisconsin handsome, they say.
Yeah,
right?
Now I've grown into Wisconsin handsome, but then now I have to date women named Barb.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got. Now you just need one of those sparkle boats, the ones, the Mastercrafts, with the matching boat.
Then I'll get the bimbos, right?
Yes, and you should call it bimbos. The boat.
I can't date those people anymore. They don't. I can't talk to them,
Yeah, no, I know.
They don't know anything.
I gotta do the boat wave.
Being friendly.
We're in tiki wave though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, is there a tiki wave? Is it like
No, they know that we're just tourists.
Hey!
They're not going to wave at us because they know we're tourists on a tiki boat.
Oh, okay.
Most likely drunk.
From Illinois.
Yeah, probably a fib. Yeah,
Probably. They're probably Bear fans. Probably got Justin Fields jerseys.
Let's do that.
Out here on the water, they're fish tabs.
All right. Here we go.
Get one for three.
Ooh. I feel like, wait, is this the Jimmy Buffett Margaritavilles?
Wasted away.
And
We just lost Jimmy.
Oh yeah, we did. This year has been bad. Woo! I like the cups.
Thank you.
Right up to the edge. Very professional.
Oh, orange juice?
A little orange juice, just a splash. No kidding.
Just a hint.
Just an essence. Actually, just like shake it over it.
Yeah.
Don't actually put it in.
Got it.
Just say orange juice.
I was just actually kidding.
Oh, no, you weren't.
You wanted a strong.
I'm actually not that big of a drinker, considering I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well.
Whoa, yeah. Woo!
All right, phone back.
I'm recording this.
Oh.
Is it bad juju to toast on a boat?
Not at all.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, there you go, Gibby.
Yummy. Wow, it's never too early in Wisconsin to start drinking.
Well, mimosas and Bloody Marys.
That's not even considered alcohol.
No. Bloody Mary's a meal. Which brings me to a question. Bloody Mary or Old Fashioned?
I'm going Bloody Mary. I know that people in Wisconsin are supposed to love the old fashions.
What kind of Bloody Mary? Are you a special? Do you make your own mix, or are you a mix like a zing zing guy?
If I have, well, I like that zing zing. I
I do.
it's easier. But if I make it myself, it takes forever.
Yeah,
You know,
and then you
can't
never
as
get it
drunk.
right.
Good drinking time you're wasting.
Yes, I enjoy zing zings, which is what Kroll's uses.
Yeah,
That's,
and the last one of the zing zing.
oh, when it's got all the extra
It's
stuff.
all that black stuff.
Zing Zing has a new spicy one,
Ooh.
and it's spicy.
Mm.
It is. All right.
The old one's spicier.
So, what shouldn't he? What? What is? I know you do the the peace pipe naming the cities. What is your favorite Wisconsin city to say?
Oconomowoc.
See?
Is it because of the name?
I love it because it's almost like poetry. Oconomowoc. It's fun for your face to do.
Personally,
Oconomowoc.
I think we should change the name to Milwaukee to what Alice Cooper said, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. I
From
like
Wayne's
that.
World. That's how he goes. He goes. It's originally
Milla. It wasn't it Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
I think he said that's actually
Milwaukee.
how it was originally pronounced.
Yes.
Yep. That's the way the people that actually named it said it. Yeah. But we say things different. Like Lac du Flambeau was this beautiful place up north
Yeah.
that the French named as the beautiful lake, you know, and we get a hold of it in Wisconsin. It's Lac du Flambeau. Where are you going? Lac du Flambeau. Yeah, they got good walleye fishing up there, so yeah, we'll be up by Lac du Flambeau.
Beautiful name.
I know. It's Lac du Flambeau. I was just in La Anse doing a show last week, and that's it. You know.
But if you say
Lance.
that, if you say something like that around people, they're gonna be like, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you having a stroke?"
Right, because there's no French people.
Yeah.
There's no. I was working with a black comedian. A lot of them hadn't even seen black people before. This was way up, like upper northern Michigan.
That people think the South can be backwoods. You go up there.
I was in Hayward, Wisconsin, and I said, "Do you guys even have any black people here?" And a lady stood up and goes, "We have 3, and they're very nice gentlemen."
Well, great.
She really said
You
that.
should say. You should put that on the sign. Hayward,
Mm-hmm.
home of 3 black
Three
gentlemen.
really nice gentlemen who happen to be black.
They just happen to be.
I'm not being prejudiced here.
So
I mean, I drive on black ice. How much more liberal can you get?
my car is black.
I
I
know.
have a black Pomeranian.
At nighttime, it gets black every night out here. How can you say we don't like black?
What is? Do you have a place that you like to go for your favorite fish fry?
I guess right now, Spats. Have you been to Spats?
SPATZS, right?
In Appleton, yeah.
Yeah, they have like a boot on their thing, don't they?
Well, and they're at the end of. Have you been to Appleton?
Yes.
End of College Avenue. Right now, there's a Mile of Music going.
Yeah.
But at the end of College Avenue, at the very end, is Spats, and they have a patio. They call it the Spatio,
Oh, that's cute.
and they have bands out there all the time. I performed there a couple of times. It's really cool, and they have the best fish.
Okay. Your favorite Wisconsin attraction?
Favorite Wisconsin attraction?
Like which ones have you gone to? Have you gone to House on the Rock?
That one a long time ago. I just remember, you know, they put a ball somewhere and it rolls uphill, and you're like, oh, neat, you know, and then you leave.
You didn't see the carousel?
I don't remember,
You
but
don't?
I've driven past it a
It was
million
the 80s.
times.
I don't remember much from the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I'd worked that's Wisconsin Dells. Everyone loves the Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah.
But I work there, and it's just ducks, you know, all these signs. Ride the ducks, ride the ducks, ride the goddamn ducks. You know, I don't want to ride the ducks. I just want
Or the Tommy Bartlett show.
Yeah, I don't want to
see that and ride the ducks.
I know. I don't like any of that stuff, so I just go there to work. It's just like Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't like anything in Vegas. I don't gamble. I mean, the shows are way too expensive, and they're on the same time I
Yeah.
am. So whenever I work Vegas, I'm just kind of sitting in my hotel room waiting for the week to be
Now,
over.
do you prefer up north or Door County?
I prefer, well, I love Door County. My friends have a cabin up there that they allow me to use.
Okay.
So, and it's in the middle of nowhere. So you can go out there and shout and do
Run
whatever you
naked,
want.
frolic
Oh,
through the
I do. Yeah. You know, you can chop up a hooker. It's perfect. I mean, it's like, it's my paradise.
Yeah, that's where they moved Jimmy Hoffa. From Miller Park all the way up there.
I'm sure they did. Who knows where he is now? Probably in a bunch.
Well,
of
did you hear about that?
No.
You never. They believe that Jimmy Hoffa. They back. You're gonna have to help me with the story. Back, the head groundkeeper was involved with the mafia in Detroit when he went missing in Detroit. That same night or 2 nights later, something like that. Very hush hush. The groundspeople had to dig up what was third base at the old park. And they dug up third base, put something in there, filled it in, all in the middle of the night.
Now,
Nobody.
They moved him from his original spot, supposedly wherever that was, to third base.
But wasn't he? I thought he was at in the end zone in Giant Stadium.
There was so
Then they
many
moved him to third base.
Yeah.
Well, they thought, and then when they dug up Giant Stadium to redo it, he wasn't there. But they went and they found the groundspeople, and they will not talk about it.
Yeah.
They said, "I'm sorry, but I will not talk about that." And then when they moved the stadium, he's now under a pavilion, and they did ground penetrating radar, and there is something there.
I want to see him move him to a basketball court. Now that would take some doing.
Center court, the box, clear, just a clear thing in the middle, like
Underneath the parquet at Boston or something like that.
We need to put him near free throw line to help Giannis.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Jimmy's got to go through all the sports.
Yes, hockey, we'll put him in the ice.
That's where I used to fish all the time. Those canes right there.
Really?
Yep, my buddy Jim Pompa.
Well, maybe this is a good spot.
If you want, or we could do it on the way back.
Or we could do it on the way back.
Yeah, but those canes right there.
What would you catch?
Mostly walleye. That's what we'd be going for. But sheephead, you end up getting sheephead, and then you got throw them back.
Lake Winnebago go for walleye, and we'd always be catching sheephead.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you got something, and then you
And some of them can fight.
I know they really do. You think you got something really big on. It's either a catfish or a sheephead.
So you lived in California then?
I lived there for 23 years.
23. So you have
I was modeling.
Between what years?
I moved there in 92.
92. Okay. So you were there for some of the earthquakes.
Oh, as soon as I got there, the earthquake happened within a month.
Within a month?
Yep, I was at my girlfriend's
That was
place.
the LA one. I was there for the San Francisco one.
Oh, that was a big one.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I live 4 hours south of San Francisco and 4 hours north of LA. And I was on the phone, and my dad felt it. He said, "Get off the phone. We're having an earthquake." And I was like, "No, we're not, Dad." He's like, "No, I swear." And I could see the tree he had a fake tree. He didn't like real plants. And it was shaking. I was like, "Oh my God, we are." We go outside, you could see the earth rolling.
Yeah.
And the cars bounce.
I was up on the 4th floor of my girlfriend's apartment building, and we could see all the arcing. You know, all the electrical things go all around the city. I thought we were going to die. So I was just sitting there in the window trying to hang on because it was loud. It was really loud.
Yeah.
If you ever been in an earthquake, it's just, I was shouting to my girlfriend. She's like, "Get in the doorway." And I'm like, "No, you can't see out here from the doorway. We're going to die anyway." "What?" I said, "We're going to die anyway." You know, I had accepted it.
I was in the San Francisco one, and so that was the worst one. But I was in one that for whatever reason I woke up in the middle of the night.
Oh, it's okay.
Just woke up
No,
just,
it's okay.
and I'm lying there and I hear what sounds like thunder. And in California you don't get thunder.
Right.
But I could hear it way off in the distance, and it got closer and closer and closer.
That
and
was the
closer,
rumble of
and
the
then all of a sudden, psh, everything shook for like 5 seconds,
Wow.
and then went away. And that was like the scariest thing that had ever happened to me, because the the San Francisco one wasn't bad for us.
Yeah.
And then the Rodney King riots, I was there for that.
I was there for that one too.
You were?
Yeah, we got the Rodney King and that Northridge earthquake. As soon as I moved there, I said, "Wow,
This is a
I'm glad we
great
got that out of
day.
the way." Now, you know, I thought it was going to be like that all the time. Oh yeah, this is our, riot.
Wildfires.
This year's riot, yes.
The wildfires that take out Malibu.
Well, yeah, the wildfires actually, the mudslides, the earthquakes create the mudslides, which put out the wildfire, so everything takes care of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are so used to earthquakes in LA, they'll be on the phone ordering at Domino's. "Yeah, I'd like a large pizza with yeah, pepperoni, extra cheese.
Yeah.
It'll be here soon.
And if the street is broken up from the earthquake, you can go around the back. It's
Right.
perfectly good. No biggie. Come on. Power's out. It's still fine. Just knock.
That's the way people in California. You have to be lackadaisical about it. Because
Yeah.
if you walked around scared that you're going to die every second, which you could. Yeah.
It is. And since we've lived through both,
Yes.
I mean, I think to myself, people are like, "Oh, but tornadoes are so bad." I was like, you kind of know when a tornado's coming, you know?
Yeah.
Like right now, I am pretty positive that there's no tornado.
No, and I was just in the Bahamas. Have you ever been there, the Bahamas?
No, I'm not that fancy.
Well, it's a club. I try to do it every year. It's like a 2-week. You stay in the Bahamas for 2 weeks. But people are like, oh, they're in the Bahamas. They have earthquakes or they have hurricanes there all the time. And they're like, oh, you're from Wisconsin, man. How do you get through those winters? And I'm like, well, you're from the Bahamas. Where's your house? They're lackadaisical. They're like, oh, that's just a little wind.
Yeah.
That's how most of us get lawn furniture.
You see my new trampoline?
That is from 5 blocks away. You're not getting it back until he gives me my 3-piece sofa set.
We ended up in Wisconsin. That's how you end up with new chairs
Sure.
when you go to watch concerts.
Yep, you never buy any lawn furniture. You just wait until there's a windstorm.
Yeah, and that's why I buy all my lawn furniture over at garage sales.
Yeah.
So that when it gets stolen at a thing, I'm like, oh, it was $2 over at Sarah's.
Garage sales 1 step above Menards.
Yes, pretty much.
2 steps above Fleet Farm.
Now, the next question is, and I like that you also have the same with the California, because then you really have 2 broad pieces of the spectrum in regards to how people act. So you've experienced chili in several areas. Are you a noodles man or a not noodles fan?
Oh, no noodles. I'm
No
sorry.
noodles, thank
I would
you.
never put noodles in my chili. I'm actually half Italian too, so that's degrading.
So am I.
Half Italian, half Scottish.
Half Italian, half white trash.
Oh, no drinking problem there.
No, my
were
mom's from the South.
You were born in detox.
Pretty much.
Slap her ass, give her a coin.
Exactly.
Good luck to you.
That's me. Give me a pack of Marlboro Light 100s, and I'm good to go.
I'm Italian Scottish.
Okay.
So
that's a more fun one.
Well, every time I'm wearing my kilt, I feel like beating myself up for wearing a dress.
That was your Stallone?
Yeah, hey. Yeah, I guess that way. I
Yeah.
can do Barney Fife and Stallone. Those are my 2.
I can't do, my husband says I can't do any of them.
Well, Barney Fife, I just was finding out, I don't even know, who Barney Fife is.
Oh my God, Don Knotts?
Yeah, that's the excited Barney. Andy, this just escaped from the jail. We gotta go get him.
I love Don
As
Knotts.
opposed to when he's sexy, when he tries to do that. Wow, stop talking to Thelma the other day.
He was in Three's Company, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
he was.
he was
the
Mr. Furley.
landlord.
Yeah.
So when I first started doing my Don Knotts impression, I would say Barney Fife, and people knew what. Then as I got older, the crowds got older.
Yeah.
Then I'd have to say Mr. Furley. And
Yeah.
now, the crowds are younger, so now the crowds, they don't even know who Mr. Furley is, and they
No.
don't know who Don Knotts is. So
No.
I just say a guy used to talk like this, and believe me, it really sounded like it.
It's sad too because you saw these great people and
He was one of the funniest ever.
Oh my
him
God.
and Tim Conway.
He started in early television. He started with Sid Caesar and Imogene Coca and all those guys. I was lucky enough to go to Sid Caesar's 80th birthday party
Oh wow.
at in Los Angeles. Oh, it was the Phyllis Diller was there. This is just before
Phyllis
everyone
Diller.
died. Buddy Hackett, Phyllis Diller.
Oh my gosh.
It was, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to fangirl, but those people are just Buddy Hackett. My dad, I love my father. He was the Italian one, 100% Italian. Man, I grew up. We would spend our Friday and Saturday nights, and I was in middle school. Andrew Dice Clay, Eddie Murphy Raw,
Yeah.
Phyllis Diller, Buddy Hackett, who are the Richard Pryor, all of them.
I was so lucky to go to it. It was at the, I forgot what they call it. Every city has one of them. I can't even think of the name of it. But I was just so lucky. Drew Carey lived in the apartment above me. So
wow.
And he was slated to go on with all these guys. So he just said, you want to come along? And, But yeah, when I first moved to Los Angeles, Drew Carey he had an old beat up Volvo, you know,
Oh wow.
and he was living in the apartment above me with a roommate. And then all of a sudden he got on the Tonight Show.
Okay.
And the night he got on the Tonight Show, I was doing a gig like a couple of miles away, so I zoomed home to watch it, and I watched it on TV, and he just did so good on the Tonight Show. And I knew he was over at the Improv, so I zoomed over there.
Is that a Johnny Carson
Yeah,
Tonight Show?
Johnny Carson.
Oh.
It was the last time Johnny was. Oh, he was. Yeah, Drew, and the night before he couldn't get arrested, and now he was surrounded by people. He had an entourage, you know, just in one day after the Tonight Show. That's all. I just watched him take off, and that was only a couple of years after I got to LA. So I thought, oh well, that's going to happen to me. You know, I'll get my own sitcom pretty soon. It didn't happen.
It should have.
Nope, I had to.
You should have been the great uncle in the '70s show.
I would just audition for everything though. So I did a lot of commercials. I don't know if you've seen any.
I have. I saw the one where you were wearing all the winter stuff.
Yeah.
And then
that was for NetSuite.
Yeah, there was one more. I can't remember what because I can't remember what the other ones, but I saw two.
Yeah, I mean I was the plumber guy. Like you know how they have really amateur commercials for plumbers. Yeah. Every city you go to, it's always come on down to Joe's Plumbing, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm going to go to LA, and they're not going to have that. They're going to be like, oh, real actors, you know. Yeah. Come on down to Joe's Plumbing, you know. But it was just the same, and I ended up being the plumber guy. I auditioned for the commercial, so I was Jack Steffen. I was a guy that got his name wrong. The announcer kept getting my name wrong. It's Jack Stefanski. No, it's Steffen. Jack Steffen. So everyone in LA knows Jack Steffen.
Oh, okay.
So I was recognized only in LA. They go, the Jack Steffen guy.
Oh, well, that's fun.
I know, but
cool.
I don't get I can't get recognized anywhere else. Just LA.
What comedians do you like to watch now?
Brian Regan is my favorite comedian.
Okay.
Have you seen him at all?
I do not. No, I'd have to see his face.
Very clean.
Okay.
And he works only big. You know Brian Regan at all?
I've heard of the name.
Yeah, he only works big theaters. He was at the PAC, and he always stops into the comedy clubs, you know, and says hi. And I've loved him for so long, and I never got a chance to work with him, you know. And he was going to be at the Skyline during the pandemic. Yeah. Because you know, no other big clubs were open, so Skyline was one of the only ones that was open. So we'd get these really famous guys coming in, and we got Brian Regan, and I thought, I got to sneak in and see him. So I was going to just surreptitiously get on the elevator and sneak in, sit at the back of the room, watch him, and then leave. Mm-hmm. That was my plan. But I get in the elevator, and it's Brian and his manager, and they're going up, and so I'm in the elevator with him. I'm like, hi, Brian. I started turning into a fanboy. I go, oh, thank you so much for coming out. I know you usually work the big, but it's really cool. And I'm a comedian too. And he didn't let him get a word in. And it was like 3 floors. And finally the door opened and he just kind of walked out looking at me weird.
And he's like,
stupid. And then I go over and I watch the thing. And as he's coming off stage and he goes, you like cigars? I said, yeah. He goes, come on out. And he had his big tour bus in the parking lot of the Skyline. And we smoked cigars. Me and Johnny Beaner and Brian Regan sat till 3 a.m. smoking cigars and telling road stories and laughing our asses off.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
It was that was the best moment so far.
And the whole thing was caught between you.
Oh, this was... I'm glad I didn't fart. You waited. Why didn't you tell me when it happened? Mean people too. I was just working a club way up in Upper Michigan again, and this guy was the Gin Blossoms drummer. He had just gotten so sick of being on the road and doing it that he just bought a place up north where he used to spend his summers, and that's what he does now. And so he booked me in as a comedian, and it was, you know, when clubs are first starting out, it's tough to get it going. Sure. You got to get word of mouth and stuff. So.
And it's tough to even, like 5 years ago, you could be a nobody and go stand up at like Skyline for a night. Now they want you to actually like take a class and do all this stuff and go over to Green Bay, because I looked into it. But
well, taking a class is not the worst thing. That's kind of how I started. I'm not going to knock this off anymore. That's kind of how I started. Joel Hodgson, I don't know if you know him. He did Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Okay, yes.
Well, I had a chance to be in that and I took a class from him.
Okay.
And he said, "Do you want to do this Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm booked. I couldn't do anything other than stay booked because I was making a living, and I was, that was just the way I did it. So I passed that up. That's one of the many things I passed up just from doing stand-up,
Yeah.
So I used to look back and think, oh, I could have done this and could have done that. But
I always think about doing like bringing it back somehow with like some of the
Mystery
old,
Science,
yeah, like some of the 80s and 90s movies that, like, I think, like, when I think of Cannonball Run, I envisioned this amazing movie in my head, but then I watched part of it and I was like, oh my god, this is so much worse than this.
Oh, Cannonball Run! But my friend wants to do a remake of Cannonball Run with weed, bringing weed into Wisconsin, and going down to Florida and getting it, and then riding it back and doing the exact same stuff.
That would be hilarious.
But just switching it over from beer to weed.
That it would have to be called something.
You don't have to go that far. You can just drive to Michigan. All you gotta do is make it over the border.
That's right, but then it wouldn't be a very good movie.
No.
They had to drive all the way across the country.
No. Or you could do Cuban
like
cigars.
Yeah.
Cuban cigars.
That's a good idea, Cuban cigars, because then that's not that silly. Because Illinois, pot is legal, Wisconsin's not. So you can be standing here and smoking pot and it's all fine. And then you just take one step over and you have to go to jail. And I had to go to jail in Chilton. I had to go to the Chilton Hilton. I spent some time in the Chilton Hilton.
Where Steve Avery spent time? Were you in the same cell?
Yeah, me and Steve were bunkmates for a while.
He told you that he didn't
Was
really
he
do
in
it?
the Chilton one?
He was.
Oh, see? Now they should have had like his picture on there or something.
Like
famous
Chilton
people.
fame.
Yeah.
People that they caught.
Famous murderers, and I would be
Famous
under the famous
thieves.
pot smokers. Yeah. Ooh, they had me for 5 days in jail.
5 days?
5 days. It was a DNR agent, and we all know how nice DNR agents are.
So were you fishing at the time?
It was actually High Cliff.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to get it stoned, why not go to a place called High Cliff? It seems like it's made for it. So I'm in my little, my campsite, and all of a sudden he comes through, and I think it was his first day on the job. They had the guns. This is a DNR water conservation. So he has a flak jacket, guns, handcuffs, mace to conserve water. Pushes open the door. That fish is not slot size. Hit the ground, dirtbag. Slot size.
Do not
What
play
do
that
you
way.
not know about slot size? And so, but it was really his first day on the job because it was like getting busted by Barney Fife. He's like, "Oh, smell marijuana here," and I'm like, "Well, you're a genius." And he goes, "Well, that's illegal here, and we don't take
I
condom."
would like there was a skunk. He went that way. Poo.
And I was trying to be nice. I said, "Yeah, I'm a comedian. I'm just writing my set for the Skyline. I'll be there next week, And he's like, "I don't want to hear," And he goes, "I'm calling the police." I said, "You calling the police?" Yeah. So he called the Chilton police. They sent their entire squad into both cars, into my campground.
It really is 2 cars.
I swear to God, they were all there, and they handcuffed me, and they took me into jail. And you've been arrested, right?
No.
No? You have.
No.
What? This is Wisconsin. Everyone has at least one DWI.
I'm not saying I haven't done anything wrong.
Right. You just never got caught. Good for you. Well, when you do get busted, and you will, because it's Wisconsin and they're bored comedians, you're not going to see an episode of Cops filmed in Appleton. It'll be like, bored boys, what you going to do? Pull over everybody out past 2.
And they did that to us.
Yep. Well, and you didn't get a DWI?
Well, no, he
You were
he
sober.
No,
We were driving home from the casino. We got
no. He had a gig.
Oh, that one.
He had a gig. He had a gig, and he did play.
Oh.
And he pulled out of the thing. We went to Taco Bell, and the cop pulled us over and says, "Where are you coming from?" And he's like, "Well, I played a gig." "Well, did you drink?" "Yeah, but I haven't drank for like 2 hours."
Yeah.
And he's eating a burrito. He's talking to the cop with his stuff in back. He's like, "Well, sir, we're gonna need you to come out here and take the breathalyzer and the field sobriety." And they're giving him the sobriety, and they're like, "Okay, well, I need you to do a stand and put your foot out there and your hands out." And he goes, "Dude, I couldn't do this if I was sober."
Yeah.
And I said, "Why did you say that?"
I thought I was sober. And you still didn't get a
No, he
ticket.
didn't.
I wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I got pulled over in Eagle River just a couple of weeks ago, and the guy, he said, "Where were you tonight?" And I said, "I was just doing a show." He goes, "Oh, you mean at the Eagle's Nest?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I hear those guys are great, neat." And he turned into a whole different guy. it was just like license and registered. And then I told him I'm a comedian. He's like, neat. Have a good night.
See you on the flipper.
Catch you on the flipper. You guys are living 9 lives.
We feel like it.
Well, when they do bust you,
drink that night at all.
they ask you all these really personal questions, and I didn't know. It was I think it was my first time getting busted, but it was first time remembering. And he's like, religious affiliation? Why do they need to know that? Political affiliation? Then they said sexual preference, and I'm like, big boobs. And he's like, what? And I said, but that's my sexual preference. Yeah, why? Is that illegal? It's illegal to have a plant that grows out of the ground. Is it illegal to like large mammary glands with pencil eraser nipples?
Pencil eraser.
And he says, calm down, sir, calm down. We're just trying to find out whether you like men or women. I'm like, oh, men. No, I'm not gay, but I identify as a comedian. So
yes.
They're not going to get a straight answer out of me.
Favorite bait? What do you like to use?
Well, I'm more of a Canadian crawler guy. I like those because you can break them up, you know.
So do you knot them up? Do you let them go loose and long?
Well, loose and long. If I'm fishing for like a walleye or something big, if I'm fishing for perch, I'll just clip off a little bit of it.
Well, what's in here?
Well,
take a swim.
This one, that place right over there, we used to fish just the edge of those canes, and we would always get walleye. But that would be more May and June. I think this time of year, what will we get out here? Do you know?
I don't know. Everybody's pretty much way out here, just like exactly where we are. Why don't we find out?
Yeah, I suppose you should go where other people are. Those guys are right there, but there must be some structure under there. You don't have a finder, do you?
Considering this is the first time anybody's tried to fish off of one of these.
That's right. We are the first. We're
the first. Yeah.
We got the champagne. We should break them up. I'm not kidding.
We're boldly going where no one has gone before.
I want to give it a shot.
Yes.
You ready to give it a shot?
Fishing over here.
Well, you know what? You don't.
I'm not going to get in the business of providing it.
There we go.
Oh!
That's a big one. That
Fish
is a
on.
biggie.
Oh my goodness. See what we got. I'm going to get this.
There he is. Sheephead.
Oh.
A sheepy. Of course.
First fish caught.
And no one's ever going to want one of these, that's for sure.
Is that the type of boat you want that size? Oh, yeah.
What are your brat toppings? We were discussing that.
Sauerkraut,
Okay.
of course. Onions.
Okay.
Sauerkraut, onions, and ketchup. I'm not.
I didn't know. I didn't know if ketchup was allowed on brats or if it was like just a mustard thing.
I like ketchup.
I know I'm not supposed to because it's Wisconsin, but.
My wife won't eat brats.
I don't like
Oh
brats.
shoot.
I do like kielbasa, but I like kielbasa with salsa.
Kielbasa.
Kielbasa. See, I don't have the German in me. All right. Oh, he's got my pull. So now I'll just concentrate on you.
You can use that one.
Oh no, I'm okay. I unfortunately I kind of get more involved in the fishing aspect.
Yeah.
Then
Once you get the fish on, then you got all the work comes up, and you got to take the hook out.
yeah.
You decide if you eat it or not.
Well, I don't eat it. He does. He says bass up north are the best.
She got
So what?
really, really, really big bass up on my parents on the beach.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to Berry Lake next week. Do you know where that is? And it's just north of Shawano.
Okay.
Little tiny lake, but it's so. I mean, I go there every year.
Speaking of funny Wisconsin places, I grew up in a little town called Spread Eagle.
I know Spread Eagle. I was just, Lance.
Yep.
That's where I just was last week.
You didn't go to the.
You ever stop at the
Golden Nugget?
Spread Eagle?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I always do jokes about Spread Eagle.
We drove through. Do you ever do jokes about how you have to pass through Pound and Beaver to get to Spread Eagle?
No, that would be good.
I always said when they're playing football against each other, the cheerleaders are like,
Pound those beavers!
Pound those beavers! Yeah, go Spread Eagle. Yeah, I don't think they have. It should be Spread Eagle, Pound Beaver, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because that's the way it should go.
And then the town then Bald Knob from Arkansas should move up. and it should be bald knob spread eagle.
Could we get one of them driving? You want to drive the tiki? Just like
You
take
want
a little video of
you driving?
Sure. Should I be fishing?
We are the very first people to do this.
I live in a garbage can. I smokes and I drinks and I plays with my dinks because I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Can you send me that video? Not. That would be horrible. If I did, that would be awful. I'd be the horriblest fisher person ever.
Most horriblest, I believe.
Most horriblest. I'm gonna have a shirt made. Most horriblest fisher person.
Oh, I should put on my Did you see my T-shirt? The
No.
T-shirt it says "You guys speak Wisconics or no?"
Oh, I think I did. I think you should write a whole book of Wisconsin. Wait, Wisconsin. I can't say it.
Wisconics. It's
Wisconsin.
like Ebonics.
Wisconsin.
It's Ebonics, but Wisconics.
If you go fishing and do it, it's hooked on Wisconsin.
I just saw on Facebook some guy did a prank on his friend, and he paid all the people in the audience to not laugh. Well, he's going through his act, you know, and not one laugh. Now he was just like freaking out, and he just went backstage and said, "I don't know what happened." And they had paid everyone in the audience to not laugh. It's always nice to go out in the sun in the summertime because we have all these fests, you know, in Wisconsin. We have, you know, Summerfest and
Enjoy your job.
all those fests. We should have them in the winter, you know. We have Mile of Music in the summer. We could have Mile of Mucus in the winter. You know, everyone stands on College Avenue and unclogs their nose and slides on down to Jim's place. Or we could have Friction-Free Fest, you know, where people have signs that say "Black Ice Matters." Just a night.
Yeah, I'll have one now.